Albert Park Lake has been transformed once a year into a racetrack. The arguments for and against have changed little, but now even Melbourne's Lord Mayor has become a Grand Prix doubter.
I like the Grand Prix. I go to the Grand Prix, but then again, I like Ferraris as well. I don't have one because it's too expensive. And that's what we've got to work out. Just what is the appropriate cost?
And I salute you all in the room because...
While the Lord Mayor preferred not to comment this week, his office confirmed he won't be attending the Grand Prix because of prior commitments. That's music to the ears of opponents like Save Albert Park.
We think it's costing around $100 million a year. There's an operating loss of $50 million, but there are many government subsidies coming in that are not on the balance sheet.
And that's the main problem. The Grand Prix Corporation has long refused to open its books.
Around me today, there are all new facilities, new grandstands. That won't be counted in the operating loss. If you run a business, you need to borrow money and pay interest. Well, they don't. It's just a big money sink that just disappears, and Treasury carries that cost and the interest.
It's a question Louise Asher is also asking. She is once again the minister responsible for the Grand Prix, just as she was under the Kennett government.
When I used to run this Grand Prix when I was minister previously, the subsidisation of the event was $2 million and $3 million. That's not possible now because of the contract Labor's signed up to. So I don't want to say what's reasonable, but I have asked the Grand Prix Corporation to cut their costs. They are endeavouring to comply with that.
Peter Logan has been watching the annual construction of fences, grandstands and portables in the park.
This takes 3 or 4 months to set up and then pull down, so it's a massive disruption to the local community. It's never been properly measured, actually.
His Freedom of Information request for attendance figures had been turned down. He doubts the figures of 300,000 racegoers quoted by Major Events Chairman Ron Walker.
That is absolutely ridiculous. You have a look around, there are 30,000 seats approximately, give or take 1,000 each year. They are virtually empty the first 2 days, and then after that, okay, even if they're full, that's about 150,000, 160,000.
That's a figure the government has now promised to release.
There will be full transparency in relation to the benefits and to what the costs are to the public. The media will get the figures, the taxpayer subsidy, the whole shebang, all the figures. The media will get that as soon as we can possibly compile these figures.
But Louise Asher admits the Grand Prix's real value is difficult to measure.
The big benefit is the branding of Melbourne, those big Melbourne signs, and that's all about getting the name Melbourne out there into an international market.
Pole position, that's incredible.
Tourism is tough, and we've had to brand Melbourne since the early 90s as a place to do things, as an events capital. And obviously that big branding of Melbourne on the Grand Prix track gives us international exposure.
It's a sign that won't change until the current contract expires in 2015.
It's a bloodbath.